This guy only wanted a simple sugar-free coffee, but the moment he placed his order, the entire cafe went into lockdown mode. The cashier reacted like something terrible had happened. The police officer nearby reached for his weapon, and outside, a tank suddenly turned its cannon toward him. Realizing something was wrong, Guy quickly changed his order, and asked for a cappuccino instead. Only then did everyone relax, and the tank slowly moved away. But Guy had no idea. This small moment revealed the truth about his entire life. Because he was not a real person. He was just an NPC inside a video game, a character programmed to repeat the same routine forever. In this so-called open-world game, players with sunglasses were the ones controlling everything. They could cause chaos anywhere they wanted, even surrounded by police. They could escape with powerful weapons and upgrades. But NPCs like Guy had no choices at all. Every day followed the exact same script. He woke up at the same time, said hello to his goldfish, put on his old bank uniform, and went to work like always. Whenever players entered the bank pretending to rob it, the NPC employees already knew what to do. They calmly dropped to the floor, and waited for the scene to end. Some even joked about how much money the robbers would take. To Guy, this was just normal life. He never questioned the world around him. Until one day, something completely unexpected happened. On his way home from work, he saw a female player walking through the city. She wore a leather jacket, and looked completely different from everyone else. For the first time in his programmed life, Guy felt the urge to do something he was never supposed to do. He wanted to follow her, and start a conversation. But before he could catch up, the day ended, and just like always, Guy respawned the next morning. Except this time, something had changed. When the bank robbers returned again, Guy suddenly realized he was tired of living the same day forever. Then he saw the girl again. His best friend Buddy told him to forget about her, because people with sunglasses belonged to another world. But instead of giving up, Guy decided to change his own fate. For the first time, he chose to fight back. He rushed toward the robber, and tried to take his sunglasses. The players watching the game couldn't believe it. An NPC was actually challenging them. They thought the system had glitched, so they attacked Guy without hesitation. They knocked him down instantly, but something strange happened. Guy stood back up, and kept fighting. The players thought it was just a random bug, but they had no idea. They were watching the birth of something new. During the chaos, Guy accidentally grabbed a weapon, and every NPC around him froze. Because no NPC was supposed to do that. Then Guy walked out of the bank, and put on the sunglasses. The moment he did, the entire world transformed. For the first time, he saw the game exactly like players did. The city was filled with glowing missions, floating coins appeared everywhere, and healing items were scattered across the streets. Guy slowly explored this new world. He picked up a health pack, and watched his injuries disappear instantly. Then a player nearby failed a mission, and dropped a bag full of coins. Guy picked it up, and suddenly had more money than he earned in months. For the first time, he could buy anything he wanted. So he bought the sneakers he had always dreamed about. But just as Guy was about to search for the girl, something strange happened in the real world. Inside the game company, two programmers noticed something unusual. Keyboard and Mouse saw Guy attacking players, and collecting their items. They believed someone had hacked the game. To protect their system, they decided to enter the game themselves. Keyboard became a dangerous police character, and Mouse transformed into a powerful pink bunny. But they had no idea. They were about to face an NPC who was no longer following the rules. Keyboard and Mouse entered the game to investigate Guy. But Guy had no idea what they wanted from him. He couldn't understand their questions at all, until they suddenly attacked him. Only then did Guy realize, these two characters were not normal players. While escaping, something unexpected happened. His new sneakers activated a special ability. With one simple jump, Guy flew high into the air. Completely shocked, he grabbed onto a nearby cable to survive. But that move made the programmers even more curious. They started changing the game environment with their code. Buildings shifted. The world changed around him. They controlled everything like they were gods. With enemies closing in, Guy had no choice but to keep running. He rushed across a floating bridge, picking up useful items along the way. At the final moment, he used the equipment he collected, and barely escaped alive. But Keyboard and Mouse didn't know one thing. Guy could come back forever, because he was an NPC with unlimited lives. Meanwhile, back in the real world, Keyboard's life was just as repetitive as Guy's. Years earlier, he was actually a talented game designer. After graduating, he created a game with a developer named Millie. They spent years building their dream project, but their creation was eventually bought by a huge company. The company took their technology, and turned it into the global hit game Free City. Millie never forgot what happened. She believed their work had been stolen, so she spent years searching for proof. She wanted to expose the truth behind the company. That was why she returned to the game. She needed Keyboard's help to break into the company's system, and find the original files. But Keyboard refused. Not because he didn't care. He simply needed to survive. He had pushed his dream aside. But that dream was never truly gone. It was only waiting for another chance. Since she couldn't depend on anyone else, Millie decided to enter the game alone. But the moment she arrived at her target location, someone suddenly appeared behind her. It was Guy. Guy told her he had been looking for her everywhere. But before they could talk any further, enemies appeared and launched an attack. Millie instantly switched weapons, and fought back with incredible skill. Her secret mission was exposed, so she quickly opened a portal to escape. Seeing her leave, Guy followed right behind her. After they escaped danger, Guy asked if he could join her journey, but Millie checked his information and discovered something shocking. Guy was only level 1. He wasn't a player at all. He was just an NPC. Millie told him to level up first, and return when he was strong enough. Normally, the fastest way to become powerful was stealing resources from others, but Guy refused to hurt innocent NPCs. Instead, he created his own way to level up. He started helping people. Whenever new players were bullied, Guy protected them. Whenever NPCs were treated unfairly, Guy stepped in. Soon, his actions started changing the entire game. Players noticed this unusual NPC. More and more people began supporting him. His story even became a news sensation, and Guy became known as the nicest character in Free City. He proved something important. There was more than one way to become powerful. You didn't have to destroy others to succeed. Meanwhile, Millie returned to Keyboard and asked him to help her enter the company's headquarters. Keyboard could only give her a few minutes, but Millie believed that was enough. She successfully entered the building and found the evidence she needed. But before she could escape, the alarm suddenly went off. Security guards surrounded her from every direction. Just when everything seemed over, a motorcycle crashed through the window. Guy arrived at the perfect moment. He quickly took down several guards, then calmly walked toward Millie. But the danger was not over yet. More enemies appeared. However, Millie was far more skilled than they expected. She defeated them one after another. Guy wanted to help, but he became distracted watching her fight. Only when danger came close did he finally react. He grabbed a weapon and joined the battle. Millie jumped onto Guy's motorcycle. Together, they fought their way out. They smashed through the windows and escaped the headquarters. Using a glider, they safely left the building. After that, Guy brought Millie to his personal hideout. She was shocked to see how much equipment he had collected in such a short time. For the first time, she started seeing Guy differently. From that moment on, they spent more and more time together. Their partnership became stronger every day. But outside the game, Millie still couldn't understand one thing. Free City never had a kissing feature. So how was Guy able to do something impossible? That was when Keyboard came to find her and revealed the truth. The person who looked like a normal player was actually something completely different. Guy was never controlled by a real person. He was created by the game itself. He was an NPC, but unlike every other NPC, he had awakened his own consciousness. Millie struggled to accept the truth. The person she cared about was actually a piece of code inside a game. But before she could process everything, Keyboard brought even worse news. The company was preparing to launch Free City 2.0. The new update would erase all old data. Every player account, every NPC, everything inside the original world, would disappear forever. They only had 48 hours left to find the evidence and stop the update. With time running out, Millie immediately returned to the game and found Guy again. This time, she finally told him the truth. She explained that he was not a real human. He was an NPC created inside a video game. Free City was only a virtual world, built for players to enjoy. Every character around him was created to follow a script. Millie also admitted why she entered the game. She was searching for evidence against the company. After hearing everything, Guy was completely confused. The world he believed was real was nothing more than a digital creation. Unable to accept the truth, Guy ran toward the ocean. He wanted to see if he could escape this world, but the invisible game boundary stopped him. At that moment, Guy finally understood. His entire life existed inside a simulation. He returned to the city and told everyone the truth, that their world was fake. Then he found his best friend Buddy and told him they were only lines of code. But Buddy didn't panic. He simply accepted reality and reminded Guy that even if their world was created by someone else, their experiences were still real to them. Those words changed Guy's perspective. He decided to stop worrying about where he came from and start living the life he had. Because sometimes, the moments you experience and the people you care about are what truly matter. Later, Guy returned to a player's hidden storage room. He wanted to find the evidence Millie needed. Surprisingly, the player inside welcomed him and handed over the files without hesitation. Guy found it strange, but he didn't have time to question it. He grabbed the evidence and rushed back to Millie. But the moment they were about to open the files, something went wrong. Millie's character suddenly froze. She couldn't move at all. Looking around, they realized something terrifying. Every player in the game had stopped moving. The entire city began disappearing. The reason was simple. Guy had changed the way players viewed NPCs forever. Many players no longer saw him as just a character. They saw him as proof that the game world could become something more. Thousands of players started speaking out against the new update, and the company's boss completely lost control. He ordered the team to restart the entire server. His plan was simple: reset everything, erase the changes, and bring all NPCs back to their original programming. Players around the world waited for the game to return. When the server came back online, Millie immediately logged in. She searched everywhere for Guy, and finally found him. But something was wrong. The reset had removed his memories. The new guy looked at Millie like they had never met before. Then Keyboard secretly contacted Millie. He explained that the reset didn't completely erase Guy. His memories were still hidden somewhere inside. All he needed was the right moment to wake up again. And Millie was the only person who could bring him back. So Millie rushed to the bank. She found Guy and took him to a quiet empty street. Without saying much, she kissed him. That single moment changed everything. Guy's memories came rushing back. He remembered Millie. He remembered their journey. And he remembered the original game model she had been searching for. Guy brought Millie back to his room, and they discovered the final clue. When the company copied their original game, they changed many parts of the model, but they forgot one important detail: the reflections inside the game. Those hidden details could prove the company stole their work. Meanwhile, Keyboard found another breakthrough. He discovered the location of the original model. It was hidden beyond the ocean. Once Guy learned the location, he gathered every NPC in the city and revealed the truth about their world. For the first time, the NPCs understood that their lives had been controlled by code. They decided they would no longer follow the same script. When players returned to Free City, they found something impossible. The entire city was empty. Every NPC had disappeared. The company's boss immediately reacted. He ordered the system to hunt down Guy and Millie. Mouse followed the order, and created obstacles throughout the city, trying to stop them from reaching their goal. But Keyboard secretly helped them again. Using his programming abilities, he built a bridge between moving buildings, giving Guy and Millie a chance to escape. Soon, they reached the ocean, and Keyboard created one final bridge, connecting them to the other side. But the boss was completely desperate. He released his strongest creation into the game. The powerful character forced every player offline. Knowing he might lose everything, Keyboard started a worldwide live stream. He showed everyone what was really happening inside Free City. The entire world finally saw the truth. At the same time, the ultimate boss appeared, a fighter who looked exactly like Guy. The final battle began. At first, Guy had no chance. The boss was stronger, faster, and more powerful in every way. Guy was pushed back again and again, until he used a healing item to recover. Then something incredible happened. A powerful weapon appeared in his hand. Guy fought back, switching between different weapons and abilities. The boss slowly started losing control, but his defense was still too strong. He grabbed Guy, pinned him down, and prepared to delete him forever. Just before the final attack, Buddy arrived, and threw Guy's sunglasses back to him. Guy caught them, but instead of using them himself, he placed them on the boss. The moment the boss saw the player's world, he became distracted, and started exploring the items around him. Guy finally escaped, and continued running toward the bridge. Meanwhile, the angry boss began destroying the server. The entire game world started collapsing. Buildings disappeared. The city started falling apart. But Guy refused to stop. Carrying the hope of every NPC, he made one final jump, and reached the original game model. The evidence was revealed to the entire world through the live stream. The company's actions were exposed, and the boss eventually faced the consequences. After everything was over, Millie and Keyboard created a brand new game, a place called Free Life. All the NPCs from Free City were reborn there. This time, they lived in a world without limits. Years later, Millie met Guy again, and Guy finally revealed the truth about himself. The reason he loved her from the beginning was not just a coincidence. Someone had written that feeling into his program. Someone in the real world had created him, as a message meant only for her. At that moment, Millie finally understood. The person who had been protecting her all along had always been closer than she imagined.